Hey, Elizabeth, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on. Tell us who you are and what do you do?
Yeah, so my name is Elizabeth Stone. I am located in Utah, a mom of two, almost three. Like any day, I'll have my third. Yeah, I own a mostly social media focused marketing agency. Almost 5 years ago, I started it. So it's been a bit, but super focused on really fun, creative content creation, making sure our kind of not we don't have a million clients. We purposely try to keep it more a boutique feel, so we keep just clients that we really love, really believe in, really can put our whole hearts and souls into, making sure they feel like they have all of our attention. So that's kind of our bread and butter. Yeah.
So, are you an accidental agency owner or how'd you get started?
Yeah, good question. So I went to college, did not do anything in advertising or marketing. Actually, college wasn't my jam, and I wanted to finish. Like that was a goal of mine, but I wanted to do it as quickly as possible. So I did this like random family sciences major that took me like a year, I think it was a year and a half to finish my 4 year degree. I just busted out. Would not recommend. It wasn't fun, but I just really wanted to get done. And soon after I had my first baby, I thought, I'm going to be stay-at-home mom, going to do this. And I just felt really like unfulfilled. It sounds horrible, but I just felt like I needed something for me. I needed some like creative outlet. I really wanted to contribute like my to our finances, with my husband. And I was always interested in marketing. I took a couple advertising classes in college as like electives, nothing crazy. And I just could see like multiple local businesses that I loved that was like they were small, they needed the help, and I just reached out and I was like, "Hey, like I would love to help with your social media." Like it was just something I was interested in. And somehow they gave me a shot. I didn't have any portfolio work or anything at that point, but they were small enough and I was working for practically for free at that point. I just to get in the door, just to get some work done, and I ended up being really good at it. And interesting thing is, if you do the math, I said we started almost 5 years ago. It was right before COVID hit. So it was like February of 2020 that I started it. And so it was a really hard time to get started, but I was able to help those couple clients at the very beginning, like stay afloat, survive, do all these things through COVID. And they were actually pleasantly surprised, right? So from that, I was able to build more of a portfolio, reach out to bigger clients, more of the dream client that I wanted to work with. Quickly had to start hiring for help because I had a baby at home. Then the second one came, and now we have a third one on the way. But yeah, so I didn't have educational background in it, but I just had an interest. And I think with marketing, I talked to a lot of people in marketing as I was starting, and they're like, you really don't need this professional formal education for marketing. It's really just getting your hands dirty. It's really if you have the eye for it or the drive for it and the ability to, take rejection and pivot and all the things that marketing requires. And I thought I did. And so I went for it. And I guess you could say it's kind of a fluke thing. I wasn't ever planning on doing this with my life, but it's definitely worked out for us.
That's good. What do you find that's working in social media right now? Everybody thinks they're amazing at social media, but they're not, right? Or you always hear, oh, here's my Instagram hack or any of that. What's working to build the right type of business use social media?
That's a really, really good question. Every time I see any of those hacks, I just most of the time disregard it because by the time you implement it, it's like obsolete. Like that's the thing with social media. It's just so fast moving and it's changing constantly. And so that can be really, really frustrating for businesses when they're trying to like plan ahead. Like I love when I'm working with a new brand and they're like, can we have a month's worth of content count, like our content planned out? And I'm like, absolutely not. Because by the time we get to that point, this is going to be obsolete. This is not going to be trending anymore. This is not going to be what you want. And that's not intuitive for businesses, right? What I think is working right now, everyone's saying it, but of course it's video. There's something that people are calling, I think it's called lo-fi content. Basically, it's high quality content, but it's disguised as low quality content. So like making it look super, super candid or like super authentic and genuine, but it isn't necessarily. Like it could have really good audio, really good camera equipment, really good content, but you have to disguise almost everything as super, super genuine and on the spot, which is not easy. It's not easy. And that's something that's working really well right now. Just being super consistent as always, not putting too much pressure on the numbers because one post could flop and the next one could do amazingly well. And that's just not how it was a few years ago. Like usually it was pretty consistent. It's not like that anymore. And you have to kind of let those vanity numbers go. That's kind of what I have been seeing that works really good. We really try to make the content seem like as genuine and casual as possible, but it's actually very planned out and very curated.
Gotcha. Yeah. Usually all of our stuff, whenever we've tried to plan things out or script it out or use a teleprompter or any of that, it's just always usually garbage.
Yeah,
I
it doesn't
always
work.
like creating content where it's just kind of like, hey, I have this idea. Let me just turn on the camera and let's just see where it goes. And that usually is the best part. But it's always hard with when you have certain clients because there's a lot of social media agencies listening and you're trying to tell your client, be like, hey, you need to do video. And they're like, oh, I'm scared to death
I
of
don't want to.
doing video. Yeah.
Yeah. They don't want to. And that's why, well, at least my agency, we require all of the content creation to be from us. We do the content creation. And a lot of times that's us getting with the client and doing it with them. And we have, strategies and stuff to help them relax and help them forget that we're filming. And otherwise, you're not going to get the kind of content you want. It's just so hard. So we kind of require that. Some people don't like that and don't sign with us because they're like, well, we have content we can send you. I'm like, we want to do it ourselves because we know what works.
When you guys are starting out with content that really resonates, because at the end of the day, is there like a format that you guys use in your videos that really works or that's consistent? I'm not talking about a viral video, right?
Like strategies we use consistently to
Exactly.
try to help videos. Yes, right now, and that's the funny thing is, again, like if you're listening to this a few months from now, maybe it won't be as like art. It might be changed at this point, but right now, always having a voiceover and subtitles both is super super helpful. So like even maybe a year ago or a few months ago, it was okay just to have a video with text over it. We find that now if you have voiceover and text over it with the music and with the video, it's like put as much as you can into one short, quick video because people engage with it differently. Some people like the voiceover, some people like don't even have their audio on and they just want to read it, right? So kind of giving them all the options in every video is huge. Quick clips. People are their attention spans are so short. Like honestly, at this point, a 2-second clip is too long now. Like I would try to flip like the scenes at least every second to try to keep things moving. It doesn't necessarily need to feel like flashy and fast paced depending on the brand. But even with like those slower, more professional brands, you still can flip the video every second. And I don't know, it just depends on how you edit it and what kind of music you put with it and how you edit and everything. But just assuming that everyone has literally zero attention span is what we're working with right now.
Hey, agency owners, if you're sticking with one platform for every project, you're probably stuck in a growth bottleneck. More clients means more hires, which adds noise and cuts into profits. To break the loop, you need a more flexible tool that doesn't stretch your resources. Now, Wix Studio is a smart addition to your agency's toolkit. Intuitive by design, your team can quickly master the platform and focus on the work that matters the most. Now, with robust native business solutions like booking, e-com, and events, you can take on any project at any scale without adding cost to third-party plugins. Plus, Wix Studio is a low-maintenance platform, meaning you can redirect client budget toward real growth initiatives. Think more value for your clients, steady income stream, and stronger relationships. Scale your agency at wixstudio.com. I see it kind of going back and forth, especially how I consume content. And maybe I'm older than a lot of the people on Instagram or whatever it is, but when I go on Instagram and it's the real short things, I feel like I'm just like, it's mind numbing and I'm just flipping through stuff, right? So I actually prefer to go on YouTube for longer form content. Like, and and I call myself too, and I think some people are starting to catch on to this. Think about when you're watching TV and a commercial comes on. What do most people do? They pull out their phone, they just start like mindlessly, flipping through the reels or TikTok or whatever it is. I actually put my phone in the other room now. Like I try to avoid that just because I feel so much dumber.
For your own brain rot situation. Yeah. I
So I'm
love
like,
it.
please go back to long form content.
You know what? And some people like, I don't get on YouTube that often, probably just because my brain is rotted at this point. And I'm mostly on, TikTok, Instagram, and that's kind of the content I'm consuming. My husband prefers YouTube, and there's different people that prefer different types of content. And so cross posting, making sure you're making content for multiple different platforms is really important because there are different people that like different kinds of content. For most of our clients, we do like an Instagram, TikTok, YouTube situation. Of course, everything's automatically posted to Facebook, but organically, nothing's
Oh,
going on there,
Facebook.
right?
I can't stand Facebook.
Right. So, I mean, yes, we turn on that auto repost and literally leave it. But those are the ones we focus on is YouTube, TikTok, Instagram most of the time. And of course, every brand's different. It depends on who their audience is, how young their audience is. There might be a trend moving more towards long form content again. I know like TikTok just extended the length of video you can upload, and
Oh,
it's like
really?
9 minutes or something now. I that could be inaccurate, but it's a lot longer than it used to be because I think long form content might be coming back in. So, like I said, everything I just said might be working right now, but in a few months, in a year, that it could be totally different, and that's what's fun and frustrating, and you're never bored in social media marketing, which I love.
How are you guys staying up on the trends?
So personally, I don't love scrolling on social media. I try to avoid it because it's not good for you. And it just is distracting. It keeps me from my kids, all these different reasons, right? I always hire girls that are a lot younger than me, college age, that are on anyways. And they maybe haven't made those. I have had employees like start that way and then gotten to the point where they're like, I need to take a break from social media. I'm like, okay, let's move you in a different role. But those like more, I don't want to say lower employees, like employees that are just starting out, I hire ones that are like a little bit like always,
Always on?
always on and maybe to a fault, but it actually helps a lot because they know the trends and they are just like, they're the ones making the reels and helping me out. And sometimes I'm like, I don't even get this. And they're like, yeah, trust us. And I trust these girls. And so I know, and I can see it perform, but I think that's something that I had to pull off my plate pretty quickly. And as an agency owner, you have to make those decisions about what you do best and what's good for you. And then what someone else is going to do better. Cause at the beginning I thought I could do everything the best, but it's not, I can't. There's people that do other things much better than I do.
There's a pivotal moment I remember in my agency when I was literally getting to the point where I was going to close it down, and it was a multi-million dollar agency, and I took a job interview, and they go, "What do you love doing? What don't you ever want to do ever again?" And I couldn't answer it in the interview, but I went home and I go, "Oh, wow, I can pick and choose, and then I can do it myself." And then I figured out, I was like, "Well, let me delegate, let me hire these amount of people." And then when we were able to do that, we were able to just scale really fast. And I just got out of the way, of what I used to do. And then I figured out what I needed to do going forward in order to support the agency. So it was, it's tough to do that.
It's a surprisingly hard step to take to let things go.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
really hard to do it. And then once you do it, you're like, why was that so hard?
Well, why
Because
did it take me so long?
why did it take me so long? Because this thing can't grow with just on my own shoulders, first of all. And second of all, there's so many things that you're doing that you don't even realize sometimes because you're just in the grind, but you hate and it's taking away from your creative agency. And of course, we're talking right now to marketing professionals, right? You live and breathe the creative everything, right? And it's so hard to stay creative when you're being drained in some areas. So you have to let some things go. You have to hire out and you have to take that step and that leap of faith to know, okay, I'm going to pay someone. I might take a little bit less money, but it's going to pay off because I'm going to have more time and creative freedom in my brain to expand.
And it's funny too, a lot of our members or people that we've helped out that own social media marketing agencies, they hate social media. It's kind of
Yeah.
funny.
Oh, I know. I hate it sometimes. I know it's like this is what I work in, but I love it for businesses. I'm like, my kids are never allowed on it, like ever. Like I don't want them to ever get an account. And it's like, wow, you're like feeding the beast and kind of are. But for businesses, it's a necessary evil.
Yeah, exactly. Social media really and digital marketing really did get businesses through COVID. When everything did close down, it gave them another, avenue in order to stay open and
Oh,
reach
totally.
people and all of that. So
Yeah, my very first client booked right before COVID. They're like this high-end restaurant and expensive, local, small. And they were like, we're gonna have to shut down. Like no one's gonna want to do takeout. And we just blast them on social media, and enough people in the community, like this restaurant, were willing to support and saw those videos. And we had the chef like making recipes in his home and showing like just really, really involved, right? And they were able to keep all of their employees on and stay open just with takeout orders, just through that social media push, which is crazy. You don't do takeout from an expensive restaurant typically because the part of it is the experience, right? Of going and being served. And I don't want to pay $50 for a steak if I'm just going to eat it on my couch. But people did because we pushed it. And it's really amazing what social media can do. And that's when I love it. That's when I love working in it and I can see it helping real families, real businesses, real business owners. But when it's teenagers or, myself or anyone just scrolling and becoming just addicted to it, that's when it gets scary, right? And so I fully support like any of these legislations going on that limit it for children, limit it for teenagers. Even though that might affect my job a little bit and make my job harder, I'm all for it because I think it's so necessary to have a healthy relationship with social media.
exactly. Well, this has been a lot of fun, Elizabeth. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you think would benefit the listeners listening in?
Lately, the last month, our agency has taken like a little dip in a couple of things, and there's just maybe some things in the economy. People are nervous about investing, nervous about this. And I was starting to little freak out a little bit like, oh, things are going up. Now it's like this up and down thing that I don't feel comfortable with. We've all been there, right? But I had to remind myself of like where we started, when we started in 2020. And I think that's something for everyone to know. If your business is like killing it right now, that's awesome, but this too shall pass sort of an idea. There's going to be ups and downs in every agency, and it doesn't matter the political or economic climate, anything going on. There's always some way to pivot. And that's something I have to tell myself often and every day. But I think every agency owner can be successful if they're willing to make those changes. So that's something I've been telling myself lately. And if anyone else is going through that right now, that's maybe a message that can help. But there's always hope, even in difficult times, personally or in the world.
Well, it's you're either kind of at a neutral, right? Like things are okay, things are great, or things need to change. That's kind of, I look at it as in thirds.
Yeah, it's not bad. It just needs to change.
Exactly. And it's just like, all right, well, it worked this way for this amount of time, and I need to do this thing, or I need to think of it a little bit different. And that's the fun part about it's a new puzzle every single moment that you're trying to figure out and going, well, that worked. That didn't work. Okay.
Let's look at it as like a fun thing, not an exhausting thing. It is exhausting sometimes, but keeping it as like this is fun and this keeps me going is a way better way to look at it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show. And for everyone listening, we put out some free advanced training. It's totally free. If you guys go to Swank It or swank.it, you can get access to the free advanced training showing you how agency owners are generating leads, showing you how to build a self driven sales team, or also how to scale a little bit faster. Go to swank.it. And until next time, have a swank day.